Happy Saturday to everybody. I hope you are having an amazing Saturday and an amazing weekend so far. My name is Don Terrell, and I want to welcome you to another great episode of The Color of Motion. Well, I like to say, hey, stories come in all shades. And I highlight people of color and diverse backgrounds from the industry of motion graphics, animation, visual effects, cartoons, and comics. This space that I'm just ecstatically crazy about. Again, I want to welcome you to the show. You know the drill. Jump in, say hey, let me know where you're tuning in from. That way I can give you the shout out that you so richly deserve. It's Granny. Must be, I know it must be my guest, Granny. It says Hayes Don. So I know it can't be my grandmother because my grandmother is passed. But Granny, I appreciate you tuning in from, YouTube and checking out the episode. Please, like I said, make sure that you jump in, engage with the episode because I want it to be an interactive show. You know how it goes for sure. Make sure that you hop on over to the YouTube page, or not the YouTube page, but the Facebook group. Join in our Facebook group community, facebook.com/groups/The Color of Motion. Come be a part of the group, be a part of our family. It's growing. We're having a lot of fun over there, having great engagement, sharing industry news, and like I said, just having all around fun for sure. So make sure, you hop on over there and join in. Also, make sure that you connect with me on all my social channels here. You can, find me. Definitely want to hear from you. Let me know what you think of the show. Any guests you may want to get on. Again, I definitely want to hear from the viewers there. So you can find me on all these social platforms here. I definitely want you to connect with me for sure. Like I said, we broadcast each and every week live to my YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and the Facebook group. Also, you can check out the show on the website, thecolorofmotion.net. You can check out the live stream there. But I always encourage everybody to hop on over to the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the bell notification, give a thumbs up, comment on the episodes because that helps the channel and helps all the episodes for sure. And there you can check out all the great episodes that we've had so far going into season 3. So we've had some amazing guests. Can you believe this is episode 91? We're getting ready to hit 100 episodes. I think we should hit 100 by the end of the year. So definitely going into season 3, it's been an exciting run. So hop on over, like I said, to the YouTube channel, subscribe, get plugged in, but definitely comment because, like I said, it helps the channel and helps the show come along for sure. What else? I want to definitely give a shout out to our sponsor, DG Graphics is sponsoring again this episode. They do all the graphics, overlays, animations. They help us look good. So if you're a business or a brand that's looking to level up or start a live stream show yourself, definitely reach out to them. They can help your brand look the best that it can possibly be for sure. So thank you, DG Graphics, for, like I said, checking or supporting the show. Also, like I said, we're always working, getting new sponsors coming in for sure. But definitely, you, the viewer, are able to support, the channel as well. And hey, I love a great cup of coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/Don Terrell. You can donate. That definitely helps continue to level up the show and create great content. So I appreciate anything that you're able to do. Oh, let me throw this up here. Miss Maggie. Hey, cuz, all right, Maggie, you got me there, Granny. I was like, okay. Changed her name. I appreciate you, Maggie, tuning in for sure. As always, looking forward to seeing you on next week for sure. What else, man? Like I said, we got a lot of great things happening, and as we're winding down season 2, I just got a lot of great things planned for season 3, leveling up the show for sure. Mr. Downtown DeMille, I appreciate you tuning in, and as always, supporting the show, brother, for sure. Can't wait to get you back on. A lot of great things happening with you, I know. So you're going to be able to share, just some amazing stuff that's going on with you. What else? Oh, before we get kicked off, I definitely want to give a kind of a shout out here to this great cause. Got a great event coming up. Beyond Expectations Young Entrepreneurs Academy. It's a great organization. It definitely helps young budding entrepreneurs of color gain experience in entrepreneurship. And every year they do like a e-league event, a gaming event, and they've got their annual one coming up. Definitely support them. Want to give a big shout out to Leontine Anglin and her team because, like I said, it's a great organization that helps. I'm big on entrepreneurship, and especially in our community, something that's not definitely taught in the homes, in a lot of our homes. So helping young budding entrepreneurs of color is something that I definitely get behind. So beyond expectations, hop on over to givebutter.com slash 313IR 6JP. And of course, all this information is going to be in the show notes. And you're definitely able to, like I said, donate, support, and help their organization. Like I said, it's a great organization. So, again, big shout out to Leontine Anglin and her team over there. All right, we are getting ready to jump into this. Again, make sure you comment. I'm checking out the show on YouTube, so I'm seeing all the YouTube viewers. And something that I'm gonna, kind of start doing for season 3 is just broadcasting the show mainly from the YouTube channel because I want to start really growing the YouTube channel. And there, I'm able to have a lot more engaging conversations with everybody, and everybody is able to kind of see everybody else's comments, kind of streaming from all these multi platforms kind of segregates people and kind of keeps people on little different islands, like an island of LinkedIn. LinkedIn can't see YouTube's comments, and YouTube can't see Facebook's comments. So I want to start getting everybody into one place so we can all have fun, all see each other's comments, and just engage with each other as well. So that's something new that I'm going to start implementing in season 3 as well. All right, with that, we are getting ready to get this episode kicked off. I've been looking forward to having my next guest and friend on for a while, ever since we connected. Amazing artist, and we're going to dive into his story. My next guest is a 23-year-old black illustrator and animation student from the UK. He mainly focuses on digital art, but also enjoys making traditional art as well. His work is inspired by his identity as well as those around him. Throughout his childhood, he rarely ever saw, like me, characters that looked like him and could fully resonate, and that he could fully resonate with, which is what fuels his work. He loves creating things that he would have loved to see growing up. Things to uplift, inspire, and represent people that look like him. In the future, he hopes to have his own animation studio and have multiple series for all ages to enjoy. Please, everybody, help me welcome my very special guest and friend, Mr. Shaun Alagoa.
Hi,
All right, all right. Welcome,
hi, Don.
welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, 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 Shaun. So super excited to have you on. Like I said, been looking forward to getting you on for a while after I saw your work. Like I said, I just knew I needed to
Thank
reach
you.
out to you and get you on the show. So thank you for being a part of the Color of Motion family and sharing, like I said, your journey so far.
Well, thank you for having me. No, I'm very excited.
Awesome, awesome. And as you can tell by his accent, he's from the UK. So,
Yeah, it's about
uh,
9 p.m. here.
yes, another. I was telling him before the show, it's late there, not quite as late as it was on last week's guest with Kelvin over in Nairobi, late 10 o'clock, but still rather late in the evening there for in the UK. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to kind of getting into this and really, finding out more about you. Like I said, how you got into illustration and animation. And that's kind of the first thing. What first got you interested in illustration and animation?
Um, See, the thing is, I feel like when we're kids, we all love like drawing and making like scribbles everywhere. I just feel like some of us don't like ever stop doing that. And that's kind of how I started because I've just always loved drawing. Like I remember from when I had like paper and pens as like a really young child, I would still be drawing all the time. I'd usually draw like the same picture over and over again with the sun in the corner and like a little bees with like yeah. But yeah, I've always just been drawing. But I decided to take it seriously when I got to about maybe year 10, year 9. So that's I think that's about 14 years old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's when I knew I wanted to like I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, but I wanted a career in like art. So
Yeah,
since then, I've just been like going
yeah.
into it. At first, I wanted to do game design, so I wanted to create my own games, but it's actually a lot of work to do that by yourself. So so I just went straight to
Well, I mean, you're
animation and
still you're
illustration.
still able to kind of get into it, maybe doing
Yeah,
some design work for
yeah, yeah,
gamings or something like that. So it's still kind of you're still kind of connected and can still kind of get into it. But I get it when you
yeah,
say it really illustration. That could be a lot of work
yeah.
too. That's a lot of work too. It's never really
But
easy.
games still something it's still something I want to do. Like I still want to look into it in the future, but
Yeah,
I when I know that I can like build the team to do so
yeah,
and not
yeah.
just by myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did your parents realize early on that, you kind of had an affinity for drawing and art and that was something that they really kind of encouraged?
Yeah, it's a mix of both because although like they saw that I really enjoyed drawing, that I was good at it. They also liked like the fact that I did, but at the same time, I was really good with academic subjects like maths, English,
Yeah.
science. So they wanted me to like focus on that and just keep it as a hobby. But I was like, no. I was like, no, this is what I want to do. So
Yeah, I think that's
yeah,
every parent's thing. You need to have a fallback.
yeah,
They don't really see it as something that's kind of can be viable. And
yeah.
I get it. A lot of parents. My mother was like that as well. She saw the talent that I had, but she didn't
Yeah,
quite
but
see it
once,
as a job. You know.
yeah, once I started making money from it, that's when they were like, "Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, they always come around then when they say, "Oh, okay,
exactly."
well, you can pay your bills, so that's it's good to go, good to
Mm.
go." So where did you get your training from school wise, for your
So,
education?
oh, so I went to university and I did a year of game art design. So that's like 3D modeling, concept art, digital art. I think that's about it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what we did. Um, but I didn't really think it was for me, so I changed to animation the year after and then did 3 years of animation. Um, yeah, but a lot of my illustration and other drawing skills are usually like kind of self-taught. I did it in school, like
yeah.
secondary school, but it wasn't like training
Yeah,
per se.
yeah. And see, I was
But
kind of the opposite. Like I said, I got my degree in graphic design, and all my animation and motion graphics is pretty much self-taught type of stuff. So,
mm,
it's interesting. But see, I find it interesting though, um, and I guess that's kind of starting to change with a lot of my guests are from Africa, and I know you had said that your parents are originally from Africa, but I find that a lot of the African creators, they go to like UK. They have to go outside of the country to kind of get a lot of good formal education, I guess.
mm.
Finding it, and a lot of them have gone to the UK. What have you found? Have you found the industry in UK? I know they've got a lot of animation studios like in London and in the surrounding areas. But as far as the industry, how have you perceived the industry over there?
Um, since graduating, so I graduated last year. Um, I would say it's quite broad. Like there's a lot of different things that you can do, but I feel like there's more people that want to do them versus the things that need to be done. So it's quite still like competitive when it comes to like trying to look for work and stuff. But I think in terms of like training, there are a lot of like creative schools in the UK. So that's why there's a lot of people who are interested in the creative subjects
Yeah,
and like art and things like that.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think recently what I've noticed is that they're not really looking for juniors. Like they're usually looking for like midweight, senior level people.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know why, but obviously that makes it harder when you graduate to
Well, yeah,
get your foot in the door.
that's always the kind of catch. They want you to get experience, but how do you
But
get
they don't want to give it to
experience?
you.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
do you get experience? They want the experienced person, but how do you get experience so that you get in the door and stuff like that?
Yeah.
What were some of the, kind of animations and art that you liked and watched growing up?
Almost like there's actually quite a lot because I've just always loved animation. So obviously I love like Cartoon Network, Disney, so the Kim Possible, Samurai Jack, Powerpuff Girls. Um, I seem to like anything that has a lot of like visual effects in them. So like
Mm-hmm.
visual effects and fight scenes, those are things I like. So I also really liked watching anime, and I still do watch a lot of anime. Um, what else do I like? Hmm. I don't know, there's literally so much like
Yeah,
list in
yeah.
my head to pick from.
Well, and see that's the thing too. A lot of people feel like you said, they're kind of going after this one thing or a very narrow thing, like, oh, they want to be a character designer or they want to be an animator or like certain things. And there's so many different jobs in animation and
Yeah.
illustration that you can go down, production, and depending on how you are personally wise, like I said, some people like art, but they're technically, they're a real technical person, so they can go into IT for
Mm.
animation or that type of thing. There's so many different
Like
avenues that
rigging,
you,
things like that.
yeah, rigging or whatever it might be, and it's, I guess that's the deal. You get into it, you kind of dabble in a lot of different things and find out what it is that you kind of have an affinity for.
Yeah. I would say though, I think it is a bit difficult because I feel like when it comes to like jobs and stuff, they if they're looking for like a specific role, it's like they want you to be that specific role and your whole portfolio has to like match that. So like, say me, I can do like I feel like I can do anything that requires drawing, like
Yeah.
storyboarding, backgrounds, concept art, character design. But to make my portfolio specifically to one thing, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like they'd want you to like if you're a storyboard artist, you have to be a storyboard artist, and
Yeah.
that's like your first foremost thing.
Well, that's kind of I mean, they do it here as well. And I think a lot of recruiters say that. Like, if you're applying for a job, make sure your reel speaks to that job that you're applying for. Like, they say, okay, we want an animator, but we want a character animator, or we want a creature animator. So make sure your reel has creatures in it. Otherwise, they can see that you animate, but they may not know that you can animate creatures per se,
Yeah,
unless you show that. Or you're an artist, but do you understand storyboarding when it comes to art and putting stories together in a storyboard format? So I get it, and they say that, and I guess that's the advice for students coming out. Whatever your
yeah,
position that you're applying for, make sure your portfolio speaks to that position. Otherwise, they're just not going to take you on. You may be talented, but if they don't think that you
yeah.
can do that,
That's why I feel like it's a double edged, maybe not double edged sword. I feel like it's one of those catch 22s because it's like they want you to have the experience, but no one's going to give you the chance to try anything new if you haven't shown that you can do it. But at the
yeah,
same time, when you like first graduate or you first come out from like training or something, you might not specifically know what part of the industry you like most. So you want to be able to try out different things, but
yeah.
you can't because no one wants to let you try things. They want people that know exactly what they're doing, and that's
Yeah,
it.
and that's even more so the case getting into a studio like, say, Disney or a big studio. You're pretty much going to be, or say like Pixar. It's not like a smaller studio where you're working on. You got your hands on so many different things where they don't have a lot of people siloed into one position. You may, if you're working
Mm,
at a smaller studio, you may be an animator, but if they know that you can do motion graphics as well or something else, they say, hey, we got, can you work on this as well? Whereas if you're working at Pixar, you're in, you're a rigger,
yeah, it's like a.
or you're
I feel like it's
this.
kind of like it's like a factory when it
Yeah, it's
comes
a
to the
factory,
really
and
big
you're
studios.
plugged into a certain slot for sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Downtown Demille, not looking for junior animators. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's kind of the same thing here in the U.S. It's very competitive, especially for those positions that everybody seems to be going after, which is like character
Yeah.
designer or animator or this and that. It's very
And
competitive.
it's remote now. Like everyone's remote now, so I feel like the competition's even harder
Yeah.
because there could be someone. I think before it might be a case of like someone's could be better than you, but they live too far from the location. But now anyone can work from anywhere, so
Yeah.
the competition's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and you
I,
can learn whatever you want online as well. So
yeah.
like people are like, yeah,
I mean,
it's
and
tough.
is that something that you take into consideration too, as far as there's so many tools available online, like Blender, and that
Mm,
are free, that a creator can get their hands on and really learn their
yeah.
craft?
Yeah, I like to try a lot of new software. So currently, I usually use Procreate. That's what I've been using for the majority of my illustrations ever since I got my iPad. But since I've been trying out Clip Studio Paint. I've been using Blender. I used it for my final university project because I had to do it in lockdown, so I couldn't even go into my university's building to use all of the tools that we were supposed to be given. So I had to like do it from home using Blender, learn it while working on my final year piece. What else have I used? I've started using this app called Nomad Sculpt. It's like a 3D
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
sculpting
heard of
app
it.
on
Yeah,
iPad.
yeah,
It's a bit confusing, but it's also really, I think. with time, because it's quite a new app, so with time I feel like it will get
Yeah.
more.
And I think that's,
Yeah,
like I said, that's kind of the beauty of this time that we live in. There's so much software, there's so much learning on YouTube. You can learn just about anything that you want to learn on YouTube. It makes it so much more accessible to the creator now. And
yeah.
technology's getting so much more faster, um, for sure as well. Um, as you come in, please like. Thank you, Miss Maggie. As you come in,
Mm.
please like this video. Like I said, Maggie's, my resident assistant. She's getting people to like the episode. And I do always tell everybody, please hop on over to the YouTube channel. Again, I want to say we got a lot of YouTube viewers, so make sure you jump on the YouTube channel, subscribe, like the videos, and not only like them, but comment. Commenting is another big thing as well. That really helps the episode and really helps the channel. So thank you, Maggie, for reminding me of that for sure. I appreciate it. Um, for you, just coming out of just kind of coming out of school, do you find it hard keeping your, and we kind of talked about this a little bit before the
Yeah,
show, keeping your motivation, especially as you're working from home?
yeah. Because so me, I had to move back from my uni. My uni was in like a whole different city. So when I graduated, I moved back home, and now working from home means working from my room, which also has my bed in it. And trying to be motivated is like so difficult, which is why I've mainly been doing illustration, because I feel like I can focus on an illustration from start to finish. And I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like not instant gratification, but like it's not going to take me a long time for me to be happy with the stage, like the process of it. Whereas animation, I feel like because it is so time consuming and you have to work so hard for maybe like 5 seconds worth of a thing. I feel like it's so, I just can't bring myself to actually like do it and
now,
start something.
now, Mr. DeMille, you can kind of jump in and comment on this because he is an animator, and does some amazing animation. But yeah, like I said, animation is a different beast, and you have to definitely spend a lot of time for 3 seconds worth of
Mm. Yeah,
3 seconds worth of animation. But to the true animator, they love doing it, and it's just something that
yeah,
I guess. So I guess that's where you find out, like I said, what you really have an affinity
mm.
doing and really like doing.
But I feel like I'd like it a bit more if I was in the environment for it. Because
Studio.
like I said before, like in uni, in my first and second year, before COVID, I'd spend so much time in my uni studio. Would be working with other people, and you could get instant feedback. You don't have to email your teacher and then
Yeah.
wait for like 2 days to hear back. So yeah, I just like being around creative people. You're all busy working. You can see what
Yeah.
other people do and get ideas as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, that's so different.
definitely the studio environment is. I mean, I like it myself. And like again, we were just kind of talking about this, beforehand. Uh, even the job that I have is a hybrid position, so I go up to the office for a couple of days a week, and then I work from home. But even going up to the office, everybody's working remote, so the
Yeah,
office is basically empty. And as a creative, like I said, I like working around other creatives because you get that immediate bouncing back of ideas. Hey, look at this. What do you think about this type of thing?
mm.
The feedback for sure. Mr.
And I
DeB.
think with my uni, say a lot of us were friends, obviously, because we're like all in the same course. So you can literally ask someone like, "Could you walk from here to here so I can like see it as reference? Or can you do this?" Like, and I feel like it would be a weird request if you didn't do the course, but like since you know what it's for, like if someone asks you to like randomly jump on the spot, you're like, okay,
Oh
I'll
man,
do it.
but I have to say. I do love, and Demille had did this recently, posted a video of him talking through, they do reference video of themselves. I do love seeing artists do show their reference video that they shoot themselves to get the
Yeah,
animation down, because it's funny. It is does seem kind of weird because I've done it myself, but trying to record it. But like I said, it's so much easier when you have somebody there that you can say, "Hey, jump off! I need to animate this scene of somebody jumping off a table. Can you jump off this table so I can get reference of
yeah,
me?" Mr. DeMille, yes, animation is very time consuming. It takes a lot of focus and work. The end result of you out of the time in out of out the time is well worth it. Yeah, and that's why I say you gotta love it. And like I said, if you love animation, then it's not, the time is worth the time you put into it, because you get the gratification of what you created, which is the
mm,
same of anything. Illustration's the same thing. You can sit down and illustrate something, and you can, you get certain gratification seeing it come to life and seeing it
yeah.
finished.
But I feel
Uh,
like with animation, I feel like you have to be working for a while before you can even test to see if it's working, and then you could be like, you could work like for say 5 hours and then play it, and then it doesn't even look like a normal movement, and now your whole day is like
well, I
gone.
mean, I think my thing was, because I think if you're going to do the thing about that makes animation frustrating for me is if you're working on a machine that isn't powerful enough to give you that real time feedback. That's
Mm,
the thing. I mean, because you can, like I said, with software like Unreal, like I said, even Blender is a game engine software, so you can see all the changes that you're making immediately and
in real
kind of
time.
get that instant real time feedback. I know, like I said, when I was starting, doing animation, it was, like I said, the systems weren't quite as fast as they were then, and so you were working on a lot of you know computational intensive stuff and not getting kind of that feedback. That's what really kind of drug it out for me. But I think as
Mm,
systems and softwares got better and you got that real time feedback, it's a little more enjoyable for me to sit down in front of Blender, because I can see, oh, okay, I can make this red, or I can make this, and kind of get that feedback from it.
yeah, but like with Blender, especially when I was using it, when I first kind of learned about particle systems, my computer was not
Oh
ready
no, yeah.
for any of it. Like I would turn on you'd click one button by mistake and it would turn on like everything, or would make everything like its own object, and then your computer just freezes and you're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah,
wow. And you'd have to just wait until it could
yeah.
take like 30 minutes. Yeah.
And that was the same. And see, and it was oddly enough, it's the same way with like Photoshop. If you're not working on a good system, and you're working on a huge file,
Mm,
that's got a lot of layers and a lot of effects. Like I said, it used to be times where I'd move the mouse and have to wait a minute
mm,
or two before the mouse caught up or did anything. That's what's really frustrating. I think when you're
yeah.
having to you're working on something and you don't get that immediate feedback as if you were, say, drawing by hand, or drawing on, like I said, what we draw on now. You can see that immediate feedback and get that immediate type of
Yeah.
feedback. I think it's a lot easier now, for sure. Um, when you hear that CP, yeah, or when you see it smoking, then you know it's going. It's working hard, really hard. Yeah, for sure. And that's why I said I really wasn't gonna get into any serious hardcore animation until I got a system that really supported, you know, doing
Mm,
some serious character animating and stuff like that. Like I said, it would just be frustrating for me to sit and create something and have to wait, because I know how it is just in Photoshop. doing something on a system that just isn't up to par with what you're working on. So, for sure. Um, in the UK and especially in your program, did you see a lot of blacks that were coming into the industry
No.
or really getting into it?
No. So when I first did game art, I was literally the only black person on my course. So I was like, it was literally just me. I
Wow.
think there was one person in the year above me, and then in the year below me, I think there might have been like one, but there was never like a lot. And then animation, I thought that would be a bit different, and it was slightly different. There was about four of us, but yeah, still not the most
Wow.
like diverse course, yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, I
But at the
mean,
same time, I feel like it's the kind of culture here amongst Black people when it comes to like creative subjects. It makes sense that there wouldn't be that many because a lot of them are pushed to do the more like law business and keep the creative stuff as their like side hustle or like side
yeah, yeah,
hobby,
yeah. No,
especially by their parents.
yeah. And it's interesting, which, like I said, I love about this time. Um, you're starting, especially over in Africa, you're starting to see a lot of create great creatives and great companies coming. So much so that companies like Disney and Warner are going over there to partner with companies and animation companies over there because you're starting to see so many great creators, and plus people are really starting to create or crave diverse content or different content
Yeah.
than what's been normally put out there. What's the type of stories and things that you would like to see told from your point of view?
Um, I feel like I like to see characters that are realistic. So obviously not necessarily realistic in the sense like it has to be um obviously like real,
Yeah,
but like just plausible characters. I feel like especially plausible black characters because I feel like some um when some like studios make black characters, I don't feel like they make black characters. They just make characters that happen to be black.
yeah.
But there's
No
nothing to
cultural
like
background behind it.
yeah, like if you take a character like I think there's a lot of characters that aren't even like humans that we kind of like know are black coded, but like in I feel like sometimes they have like black characters you literally wouldn't be able to tell if like you didn't actually see them.
Yeah.
Um, what else? I don't know. I feel like less trauma filled stories for us as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there always even if it is a happy story, there always has to be some sort of like some sort of problem like a
Drama.
family issue or this or that like
Yeah.
it can never just be like the problems can never just be like with the story or like with an adventure or something.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think that's what not just us as blacks, but every race is, every race of color is saying the same thing. They want to see everyday life characters and the things, everyday situations. Like I said, not every
Yeah.
black is a gangster or a drug dealer or whatever. We have our family life and all of that. Mr. Guerin, I appreciate you there, brother. What's good with you? I see you doing your stuff for sure. I appreciate that. I'm about that transition. I don't know if you're talking about my transition
Oh yeah, I
or.
think the smoke.
You know how we do, Garrett. You know how we do. Appreciate you tuning in, my man, for sure. Um, but yeah, you're starting to see, like I said, I think the beauty of this time is, and because creators are starting to see the power that they really hold within their hand, um, more characters of diverse, colors and stories being told, for
Mm.
sure. How
I
would you?
also I think people are getting a bit I don't know. I think animation seems to be in a weird place at the moment because it seems like a lot of studios are dropping their animated series, even though like a lot of people are interested in them. So it's like the stories are getting a bit more diverse, but it's like there's less of them, or they'll
Yeah.
get like cancelled really quickly.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's
I
kind of weird.
saw, what was it? It might have been Netflix that canceled a series, just canceled a
Yeah,
series. So, and that was something had said. I was something I had mentioned with another guest. It said for all these studios doing hiring, on and showing all these new series, it seems like they're canceling just as many, just as
yeah,
many series. So I don't know. It's a weird thing. Do you
yeah.
feel
I think like
like
well,
do you feel like the change is going to come from not the big studios, but independent creators creating their own stories, their own
yeah,
ideas, and things like that?
yeah, because I feel like if you're seeing a lot of animations that you like getting cancelled, you'll kind of like not necessarily feel like your work's not good enough to pitch to those people, but you'll think like they won't even appreciate my idea, so I might as well work on it myself and try to do it myself. I think that's why I do like to like keep up with individual artists and creators and what they're doing, because like that's where you get the cool ideas from
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah, yeah.
But
And, and I think there's so many outlets and opportunities now, such as Patreon, such as
yeah,
GoFundMe, and like I said, you have all your these channels now, like YouTube, Instagram, and all these channels to put out your work without necessarily doing it. But do you feel like that's the mindset that's being taught not only with students there or kids in school there or kids students
um
here that it's the thing to go to to get a studio job, to get into a studio, as opposed to them driving home the point of, hey, you could create your own ideas and put your own stuff out.
I definitely think you're more geared towards working in a studio, but like I think for me, I feel like my course didn't really like set me up to get a studio job. But at the same time, COVID was happening, so it was a bit hectic and all over the place. But yeah, I feel like they mainly focus on making you a good animator for a studio. But also they do like give you like kind of lessons on like idea generation. You
Hmm.
can look at like the history of film and things, so you can kind of build more ideas and like a visual library. Um, but yeah, definitely more towards like they do tell you like you can make your own stuff, but it's not something that they really push.
Yeah.
At least not in my experience anyway.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing I think I like about a lot of the creators that I have on the show and have made friends with. Pretty much all of them, even if they are working at a studio, are still working on their own ideas and own things that they're trying to put out, whether it be their own animated series and stuff like that.
Mm.
How would you, and we're getting ready to take a look at some of Shaun's work, but how would you describe your style? If you had to, if somebody asked you, well, what's your style? How would you describe it?
Um, ooh, that's difficult. Very black, very colorful. Um, a bit like I don't know, a bit whimsical, bit of fantasy, bit of sci-fi. It just depends what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah.
What has inspired me within that cycle of
Yeah.
art, really.
And on that note, let's take a look. Ooh, I hit the wrong button there. Sorry. But hey, applause,
An early
applause.
chair, sorry.
Applause, applause. But on that note, let's take a look at some of Shaun's work because, like he said, it is really colorful for sure. So let's take a look at some of his artwork here. Um, Another thing I did notice is that you do a lot of female characters. Is that
Yeah.
intentional or just kind of not
Um,
intentional?
I feel like with women, there's a lot more. There's lot more that you could do creatively. Like I feel like to put it simply, I feel like guys are a bit boring when it comes to like
I love this one
art
here.
and stuff. Like I feel like that. Thank you. I feel like girls have like a lot of different hairstyles and stuff. You can literally do whatever,
Yeah,
and I feel like it will look cool.
yeah.
But then I feel like guys are kind of, at least for now, are a bit boxed in expression wise.
Yeah, I think, like I said, there's something about the woman form. The female
Yeah,
form is just, you know,
it's
you
really
know,
nice to draw as well, do all the curves and everything.
you gotta
Yeah,
love it. You just gotta love it. So, women, we love you. Women, we love you.
yeah,
Like I said, his style is so colorful, and like you said, very whimsical in the things that you do. Um, where do you kind of hope to? I mean, in your mind, where do you see yourself in say 3, 5 years, and where would you hope to be in three to longer?
Um, so 3 to 5 years, I would say I will definitely be like I'd be selling a lot of prints and stuff, a lot of like different products with my work. I also hope to at least have like my projects kind of like in a more tangible place rather than just like little sketches and
Yeah,
character designs. I'd want like actual like
yeah,
I'd want to push myself to actually animate things. Um, Further on in the line, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I just want to go with the flow of how the
yeah.
industry is and kind of
Well,
like plan
and,
accordingly.
and I know it's kind of because I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole NFT space
Yeah.
and how creators are now starting to create all these NFTs and kind of give themselves another outlet. Is that something else that you've kind of kept your eye on that you kind of look at and see?
So when the NFCs first started being a thing, I actually made one, but it's so like confusing to like navigate the space, and I felt like I don't know, you're kind of trying to get someone to bid on your thing, like your NFT, but like it's too much. It's too much like it feels too much like begging for me to like try and get bids on on something like asking like, oh, like guys, this is still available. It's like,
But I guess it's like if you have an audience, I can see where
yeah,
that would
exactly.
work because I think, like I said, I think NFTs really
It's about
started.
exclusivity.
Yeah, well, I think of course, I saw it or I first became aware of it when Beeple, who's a kind of a famous
Yeah, I've
artist,
had,
sold his
yeah.
NFT for millions, and I'm thinking, man, millions. But then I thought the same thing. I think the same thing when I look at a Van Gogh painting or look at a painting with just a dot, red dot in it that
Yeah.
somebody paid millions of dollars for. And I'm like, art is so subjective and it's really,
If you have the money to spend and you
yeah,
want
and
it,
it's
then
really in the eyes of whoever purchased it, what they feel it's worth and,
yeah,
what they're hoping it's worth. But for somebody say like people or any other creative that has a large following, it would make I guess sense to create an
yeah,
NFT because you got people there that love your artwork and are going to buy whatever it is and support whatever it is that you create.
yeah,
uh,
definitely.
Whoops, I don't want to put that on here. Let me jump to this scene here. Mr. DeMille loves your artwork for sure. Yes, he does some
Thank you.
amazing artwork. And like I said, I was immediately blown away when I saw it, and just
Thank you.
love the style. Like I said, it's like you said, it is such a visually um, appealing style. Miss Maggie, beautiful work. Appreciate that, dear Granny.
Thank you.
So, like I said, you love, like you said, your primary tool of choice is Procreate, which I've
Yeah,
seen some amazing stuff. Even animation done in Procreate
yeah.
is. I haven't touched it myself because I got to get a new iPad, but I've seen some
I feel like it's
amazing.
okay. It's the
Well,
animation. It's not like the best, but you can animate on it. You
yeah.
can if you
Well,
want to.
and I guess that's the thing because I have seen some. There's this one guy I can't think of his name, but he does like motion graphics style artwork, and it shows the animation of it, and it's just some amazing stuff. And I think he's done some stuff for Nike and some of the
Oh,
bigger
I think I might have
some,
seen it on YouTube actually.
yeah, some of the bigger companies. So it really does, I think, fall depend on the hand of the artisan that the tool falls in. I mean, any
Yeah,
tool, you can do
like
some
you can make it
amazing
work.
stuff. Yeah, you can make it work, and you can make some amazing stuff in some of the simplest, I think, software, or software that you don't think would be the best software and stuff out there. Um, and like I said, we're seeing so many amazing new softwares, or just software that, like I said, they get into the hands of these creatives and use it in such a totally different way than what the developers had intended. Say, like Unreal. Now you
Yeah,
got, it's not just a game. It's not just a
yeah.
game,
People
and
people make like
yeah,
films
films.
and like
When they got into the hands of the producers and they really started expanding on what the tool could be used for, that's when it just opens up and people really
mm,
just start using it for such amazing things. Mr. Raul, I haven't seen you in a minute there, brother. Uh, Positive vibrations. I read for sure. My brother from the islands. I appreciate you tuning in for sure there, Raul. Uh, but yeah, that's the beauty, and that's why I love this time now. Because, like I said, you got so many great softwares out there, so many free softwares that, like I said, you can just get into and dabble and play with,
with
and
loads of
have.
tutorials and everything.
Oh man, like I said, YouTube University is an amazing place.
Yeah.
You can learn whatever it is that you want to see or want to learn for sure. Um, what's been for you the best piece of advice that you've been given to this point?
Ooh, best piece of advice. It's not like necessarily like a short piece of advice. It was kind of like a long conversation, but basically about branding yourself when it comes to like not necessarily just like specific things about you, but just branding your everything about you in
Yeah,
one like package. So me, I feel like everything that I do is kind of like plays off each other in different ways. So even like how I dress, how I act, kind of you can kind of like see it in my art in a
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Maybe I'm just making that up, but I feel
No,
like
well,
it's
I mean,
like
that's an important thing that I think a lot of artists now are conscious of their brand, and not just their artwork, but just how their artwork reflects their personality and what they love. And I think,
yeah,
like I said, we're all aware now of how important your brand is. And that's the thing, everybody's got a brand, everybody is
yeah,
promoting it. Even if you're not in art, your brand is just what people see from the outside.
yeah.
So just as an
Especially now with
everyday,
social media.
yeah, it's just, that's your brand, and so everybody is branded, and everybody is promoting their brand. So how people see you is how people see your brand and what you
Yeah,
are and what you stand for. But I think as creatives, we're doubly conscious about creating a brand. You
yeah.
know,
I do think I think that when I stopped trying to like when I stopped trying to have a specific art style and I stopped trying to like brand my art style in that way that it's like the way that usually people like artists think about, they all want their own like specific distinctive art style. But if you're working towards that and you're like actively trying to do it, I don't think it comes off genuine. And
yeah,
I feel like over time, it's like since you're forcing yourself to have this distinct art style, you're not just like gaining new things that you like and you're like trying out new things. I feel like over time, my art style kind of just formed itself just because I was drawing what I enjoyed and what I
yeah,
was inspired by. And then like it just kind of like builds together.
yeah.
But
Well,
when you overly think about it, you're like, oh, the eyes have to look like this,
yeah,
the nose
yeah,
has to look like this. It's like you're not going to build your art style. You're just kind of
yeah.
like forcing yourself into.
Well, don't you
But
feel like that's just, I guess, the natural process as you learn new things, as you know, you're
yeah,
exposed to new things, your style is gonna evolve, and
yeah,
you're just gonna, it's just gonna change over time.
yeah,
Now, you may have a distinctive thread through it that people can immediately recognize and say, "Oh, okay, Shaun did this," because I can see kind of his style or flavor in it, but it still evolves as you learn and your knowledge grows over time, for
yeah.
sure. Where with all the things that are starting to come out now. Ooh, I think I hit that by mistake. Positive vibrations, bro. Again, with all the things, all the different content, all the different movies, and just different characters and things like that. Where do you kind of see the industry headed from, again, your perspective?
Um, I don't know, I feel like it is getting quite interesting. I feel like we're at like kind of a weird point where because it's now an active decision to add this diversity, it kind of sometimes it can come across as ingenuine or pandering, and then sometimes it
Yeah,
can come across as like really good characters, like really good stories. Um, but I think that's just a normal thing when you're trying like new things, I
yeah.
suppose.
Well, I
Even
mean,
if they were doing it from the jump, they wouldn't have to worry about it.
yeah, and I
And if
and
they
I
actually
and I'm going
got
to ask you this: do you? Because sometimes, like you said, you got all these studios, like I said, and trust me, it was the big mad rush when we were going through our protests, and uh, the deaths occurred, and like I said, we were going through the process. You had all these mad rush, or you all of a sudden saw this big swell of studios.
they want the black
Yeah, they
voices and
wanted
black
they
creative.
were talking diversity and all of that. And like you said, it is that kind of fine kind of tone or kind of fine line that you walk where you feel like, okay, they're just doing it just to be politically correct or in pandering, or are they just genuine
Mm,
about wanting to do it. And I understand, you know it's a business and a company, and the bottom line is the dollar, for
yeah,
for the business. But and like I said, it probably wouldn't, like you said, probably wouldn't be such a big issue had they been doing it, years ago before. But is that, I mean, another thing that you think about that, or kind of see sometimes in some of the content that you just like, is this, these studios are kind of trying to jump on this kind of bandwagon of, like I
yeah.
said, political
Or
correctness and
like
doing it.
they'll have it's like they'll have characters that they kind of just like it's like they just repeat things that they see on Black Twitter, things like that. It's like you can kind of tell that it's not coming from a genuine place in a way. And I feel like also I need to see the team behind the projects before I can really
Yeah.
like make an opinion because I feel like the packaging might look nice to us. We might think like, okay, cool, we're getting like some nice diverse characters, but then everyone in the writers' room
Yeah. Yeah.
has no experience in any of these
Yeah.
characters' shoes. Like, and
Yeah.
you can tell. I feel like it always comes across eventually.
Well, do you think that was a big reason, why Black Panther did so well?
Yeah,
Partly, well,
definitely.
obviously, it was a great movie. It was a great story, and it was great characters. But do you think the fact that, like I said, a lot of the production people, pretty much, all the cast and everybody, was just, it was a lot more black involvement in it.
Yeah, definitely. And you can, I feel like you can see that in the like the attire, the costume design, in like location design. Like you can kind of like you can feel the effort being made, and it feels like more like a love letter than a business ploy,
Business card.
basically, or
Yeah,
like a
no.
business campaign.
Yeah, no, I think that helped a lot. Obviously, the studios still have a long way to go for sure. with
Yeah.
and not just. And I always say, like I said, they are doing a lot of hiring at the lower level, of course. But of course, my thing is more needs to be done at the executive level, which is why
Yeah.
I'm really big on, you know, people starting their own studios and really just creating their own content. Because, like I said, I think at a certain level, it's still going to be status kind of quo,
Yeah.
you know, for the
Because
most part.
it's still only what they say yes to and what they green light and the
Yeah,
stories that they're like, okay, we'll let you do your
yeah.
little show.
And I get, like I said, it's all, and trust me, I'm pretty sure, because I think I read this article, and I posted it in the Facebook group. A lot of the diversity, um, the people that they had over diversity, for a lot of these studios. Diversity and inclusion manager, I guess, would be the title of it. That a lot of these studios have. They were talking about how really still hard it is, to
Mhm.
get diversity and inclusion, even though that's what they're there for.
Well, one thing I've noticed is like a lot of my job searching when it comes to the creative industry and especially like animation, you'll see that they'll post like meet the team. And then when you click the team and you're scrolling through, there's literally like it could be a whole studio and there's not a single black person on the website at all. Like it's and it's very demotivating because personally I wouldn't necessarily care too much about that, but I know like okay that could like I have to plan like okay that could cause
Yeah,
like it could be a thing that I might not get the role because like you just have to take it into consideration basically
yeah.
even like comfortability of like just being the only black person on the
Yeah, and I
team.
think that's funny too. I mean, that's the thing. And then, like I said, you get so many interesting stories. Just from
Yeah.
people saying, I was talking to one of our friends, and she's Asian, and she was talking about, she was kind of the only Asian in kind of space. And I think she was in diversity and inclusion department, and they were looking at her to answer like, okay, speak for the whole Asian community. And like, I'm the only one here. I'm not, if you got
Yeah,
more, you would get more of a diverse answer because even within
exactly.
the black community, it's still
You're not a
diverse.
monolith.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not a monolith, and even in any, the Hispanic, Latino, even in Asian, it's one is not a monolith. It's not a monolith. It's still so diverse, and that's
yeah,
why I say it's going to take having more people in the executive roles that are really working to make a difference. And that's why I really want to get more executives on here because I would still like to hear in an honest way, even at that high level, are you handicapped in what you are? Do you still feel like you're handicapped in
and what you can do.
what you can really do, you know,
Mm.
that type of thing, which I don't know if any executive is going to come on here and
I'd
honestly
say
say that,
yeah.
but if any executive is watching, please, that is my goal is to have you come on and really have an honest discussion. It's not labeling, any one. And I like to say this, I'm not labeling any one studio or another because all of them, while they're all doing their own different levels, they still all got a long way to go, for sure. And I think it's going to take, like I said, kind of more what Disney's kind of starting to do with going over to Africa and really partnering, not hiring,
Yeah,
employees in, but partnering with these already owned black owned studios and black creators that are doing, their own content, type of thing. And do you feel like we feel like we have to go that route because of distribution, or do you feel like with all these channels that we have now that we have our own distribution channels like YouTube or Instagram or this and that, do you still feel like that's why a lot of people are kind of feeling like they have to go to Disney to get distribution or go to Warner to get major distribution?
I feel like, well, something I've noticed, at least with like social media in general, a lot of the algorithms are not designed for smaller creators to like actually grow their pages and to like gain an audience. So I feel like if you are a studio, it could seem a bit daunting to like have to start up a channel and a Instagram and all of these different pages by yourself and kind of like try and get people to pay attention to you because yeah, it seems really difficult for some reason. I'm not sure why actually.
Interesting.
Just how the algorithm seemed to be set up. But yeah, I do think that might be part of the reason why they think like their options are a bit limited in terms of how to distribute their work.
Mm, interesting. Mr. DeMille, I firmly believe that more could be done with hiring more minorities, even for entry level art roles. Well, obviously, yeah, there's more could be done, but there are way more lower level people hired than there are executive level people of color hired. They'll hire way more people of color at the lower level than they'll bring in at the higher level. Just from what I've seen, like if you go to Disney, not Disney's, well, yeah, maybe even Disney's, but I'm sure Disney's. But if you go to like some of these um, big studios web pages, a lot of them do have like they show the executives who's on the executive boards. Like Warner, I think if you go to Warner, pretty much all of them are, majority of them white males. They may have one or two black, or one black guy, maybe one black female. They probably have more women than they do black, on there. Just even though they may be, Asian women or white women or whatever, they, tend to lean more towards more women than they do blacks or people of color on there. But it's still, like I said, it's still got a long way to go. Like I said, and I
Yeah,
still think, and to me, it seems like even at that executive high level, there's still it would still feel like there's some kind of handicap as far as what you can present and what you're feeling like they're going to go for it type of thing. I don't know. That's why I want to get more executives on here to really kind of ask that question and really kind of get the scoop for sure. Um, my, like I said, uh, everybody's just jumping in and tuning in. We've been having a great conversation. We've had some good engagement for sure. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Doc Rock says, lock your layers. Sorry. Live streaming. We've been having a great conversation to this point with my friend Shaun Alagoa, a great illustrator. You definitely have had a chance to check out his work. And like I told you, Shaun, it goes by so quick. We're already over an hour
yeah.
for sure.
I know. I
Uh,
literally just noticed.
uh, it goes by amazingly fast for sure. But definitely, I love it because it gives me the opportunity to bring you back on for another
Yeah,
episode for sure.
of
But
course.
just as
Hopefully,
a
I've animated before then.
like I said, and I know that you'll have, in between that time, more amazing work that comes out. That's why I love connecting and making friends with everybody because I get a chance to see, the progression of their work, the things that they're working on, have them come back on. Like I said, Demille has been doing some amazing stuff since I've had him on the show and can't wait to get him back on the show. Raul and some of the other ones. So like I said, I love this, creative space and just connecting with creatives because it helps fuel me in what I do for sure. But one final question though, if what advice would you give to that young person that may be thinking about, you know, I, can I do this? Do I want to get into this? What advice would you give them, or what would you say to them?
I would say that honestly, if you have the ideas in your head, or if you just like, if you have the desire to draw, just do it. Like, get the proper equipment first off. So don't use lined paper and a pen.
Well, there's
Get a
something to be
sketchbook.
said for the. I still love
It could,
my.
but I feel like whenever people use that, it's like you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Just get a sketchbook and a pencil at least, and then just draw. But I feel like take everyone's advice with a pinch of salt because a lot of people have different experiences and different levels of like, say, observational skills, hand-eye coordination. So you might not be able to necessarily take someone else's advice and apply it to your work, but just take what you can. Know that it's your own journey. You have to start from somewhere. Not everyone becomes like amazing overnight, and that's fine. It's supposed to be fun. That's have fun, basically. Yeah,
That is a
that's
good one. And you know everybody what I do. I always drop the bomb on a bomb note. You always everybody's journey is different. And you gotta
yeah,
know what you like and stick to it and really like I said, as long as you enjoy it, that's the main thing for sure. Um,
yeah.
let's see before we go throw up some comments here. Miss Maggie, appreciate that. Yes, great guest Shaun was for
Thank
sure.
you.
Appreciate you tuning in. Miss Angela, appreciate you tuning in. She is another amazing, multi-talented artist that I had on the show. I can't wait to get her back on for sure as well. Great advice. It's your own journey and have fun.
Yeah,
Yes, that is what it comes down to. If you're not enjoying what you do, then you're not going to stick with it, and it's not going to
yeah.
be fun for you. And I
And
can,
if you want to create an art network, because I feel like a lot of the jobs and opportunities I get are from people that I've met. Even like Don, for instance, like people you can reach out to people, they'll reach out to you. Everyone wants
yeah,
to help each other out. So yeah,
it's
it's great.
it's one
That's
thing I've learned is it's a small community. It really is. I
yeah.
mean, even though it's big, it seems like everybody has heard of everybody else or
Mm,
gone to school with, and that's how people move around. I've found from different projects to different jobs. They've either went to school with this person, worked with this person at another job, or
yeah.
friends with
People can
them,
recommend
and
them.
they get recommended. And so, network, be a great person, have a great personality, and you'll go a long way for sure. Um, so appreciate that advice, Mr. Demille. Appreciate it for sure. Great
Thank you.
show and a great guest. Like I said, season 3 is we're rolling right along. We got a lot of more great guests lined up for sure. Shaun, I can't thank you enough for being on the show. Like I said,
Mm,
just being a part of the Color of Motion family. I have to say first, I appreciate you for connecting with me. I always appreciate everybody that connects with
mm.
me. Because you don't
Back at
have to.
you. Thank you.
But I definitely appreciate you being a part of the Color of Motion family, coming on, sharing your journey. You've still got a long way to go for sure, and so much more ahead of you. I can't wait to see what comes from you and the work that you do and where you're headed. That's why, like I said, I enjoy watching people's journeys as well and seeing them grow in different areas. So thank you so much for coming on and
Yeah.
making it another great episode. And can't wait to get you back on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I had a great time speaking to you.
Appreciate it.
Uh, yeah.
If you could hang out for just a minute in the green room while I close out the show, I would
Yeah, no problem.
appreciate it. But everybody, again, please help me thank my very special guest and friend, Mr. Shaun Alagoa. All right. Guys and gals, it's been another great episode of The Color of Motion. Man, I have so much fun when I do these shows. I can't, like I said, it's just such a blast for me as I do these episodes, as I meet all these creatives, as I not only meet them, but I make friends with them. And I always tell everybody that my goal is to build a friendship that goes beyond them being on the show. So that's what I love most about doing this show is that I become really good friends with everybody and build this community. So I can't thank again Shaun enough for coming on. I can't thank you enough, the viewers, for making this a special show. Miss Maggie, appreciate you. Appreciate all the love. And like Maggie would say, make sure that you go over to the YouTube channel, comment, give a thumbs up, hit the bell notification, subscribe, because it helps the show and the channel. It helps me to continue to make great content, continue to bring on great guests, and continue to have so much fun that I'm doing. So please, like I said, comment, thumbs up, hit the bell notification, subscribe, do all that good stuff for sure. And it definitely helps me out and helps the Color of Motion out. But hey, we aren't gonna stop. Miss Angela, appreciate you. Thanks. She likes to say a big thank you to Shaun, like I would too. Thank you, Shaun, for being on. Again, this has been so much fun. I can't thank you enough for tuning in, as always, and being a part of this fun time here for sure. Like I said, make sure that you get plugged into, again, YouTube. Make sure you get plugged into the Facebook group community, facebook.com/groups/The Color of Motion. Get plugged into the community on the channels because, like I said, you'll definitely get a chance to connect, engage with some awesome creatives. You'll get a lot of industry news as well, for sure. And like I said, this has been another fun episode. Goes by so quickly. I can't say it enough. Make sure that hey, we're not going to be doing a live broadcast next weekend because, hey, it's my birthday weekend. So, and plus it's the holiday weekend. So I will be doing a rebroadcast of an episode. I'm not sure which one. I would love for you to say which one you might want to check out again. But let me know in the Facebook group community what episode you might want to check out and have rebroadcast. But I will not be going live next week, like I said, because it is my birthday weekend and the holiday weekend, so I'm going to be taking a little hiatus, just a short one for sure. But the week after, we got a great guest coming on, and I don't want you to miss that for sure. Mr. Andrew Kagia, I hope I pronounced that right. Filmmaker, animator, and illustrator for sure. He does some amazing work as well, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. Mr. Andrew, so looking forward to having him on the show. It's going to be another fun episode. Again, it's going to be the week after the holiday weekend. We'll be back live for sure. I don't know. I may jump on live. It won't be the official show, but you never know. I may jump on live for sure next week. I don't know. We'll see. Appreciate that, Angela. Like I said, I don't normally make a big deal or have parties or anything like that for my birthday. Usually comes and goes rather quietly. But like I said, since my birthday kind of falls on the holiday weekend, it's still all good for sure. So I'm looking forward. I appreciate the birthday shout out for sure. I may play a birthday video I got from some of my guests last year. Now that was a nice touch that my assistant put together. Got a couple of the guests to do a happy birthday video for me. So I may play that next, maybe next week. We'll see. Appreciate it, Mr. DeMille. Thank you for the birthday shout out for sure. Like I said, I hope everybody has a great week, productive week, and if we don't happen to see each other, make sure that you do jump on, because I probably will, if at nothing else, rebroadcast one of my favorite episodes. One of my favorites. They're all my favorites, but maybe an old year one episode that I enjoyed doing. We'll see. But make sure that you still tune in. It'll still be rebroadcast as if it was live. So please tune in. Have a great week. Have a great holiday weekend. If you're going out of town, be safe for sure. But I will see you same bat time, same bat channel. Have a great week, everybody. See you.